The provincial elective conference of the ANC in the Northwest has been moving at snail's pace, with voting yet to begin hours after it was scheduled to. Refiloe Seboko is standing by inside the venue where voting is supposed to take place. By all indications, seats remain unoccupied there behind you, Refiloe. Any word as to when the process will actually get underway?
Not at all, Dudu. We haven't had anything at all into the time of when that voting process will start, and there has not been an indication that it will start anytime soon, and even members are really starting to be impatient. We also see some members are sleeping. You can imagine it had been a long night for them following that nomination process, and yet there has not been any sign or any movement in terms of voting process. It was said to have started this morning at 9 o'clock. And it's already 1:05 now, and that process has not started. But we're going to analyze a whole lot of other things that is happening in this conference, together with the delays. What should we make of them? Let me welcome Rebone Tau, the political analyst. Rebone, thank you so much for your time, and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. There has not been any voting. Delays after delays and after delays. What should we make of these delays? I mean, voting for the top 5 has not been done yet.
Good day, and good day to the viewers at home. I think this is an indication that the ANC is in a crisis as an organization. You must remember that Northwest Province is the first province to be disbanded after the 2017 conference. So literally they've not been with the leadership for the longest, you know. This is the second task team that has been put in place, because before, if you remember, the likes of Kinetsu was the coordinator of the initial task team before the national government elections in 2019. And we have seen there was interdicts, you know, on Friday, you know, and there's now even rumors that some are planning to interdict this conference. And I mean, we left this morning at 6:30. And delegates were told to be back in plenary at 9 o'clock. So literally people did not sleep, you know, and the fatigue from, because even some were even complaining to Malusi Kigaba this morning and say, we have not slept for 2 days. We know that the registration process alone also took time, you know, until yesterday afternoon, some were still registering some of the delegates. So it shows that there is a serious challenge in the Northwest province. And but also, we can go back to say, if you remember, before the RT, we had in the ANC the Premier League, which was one of the strongest within the ANC factions, you know, and the Supra Mahumapelo, the likes of Esma Khashule, the likes of the Deputy President Titi Mabuza were part of this faction, which was called the Premier League. This was where the Premier League was alive. Is this the last kicking dying horse of the Premier League, you know? Is it really not wanting to let go, you know? Is it giving a new birth to the ANC? That we will see as we anticipate that probably by today they will vote. But also what is worrying, while hearing that President Ramaphosa is coming today, and if they've not voted for the top 5, when are they going to, who's he going to come and address?
What should we make of these discussions that we see? We see different regions, delegates from different regions. They seem to be holding meetings. What should we make of these meetings?
The reality of the matter, this is one province where they had so many candidates for chairpersonship, for an example, the deputy chair, you know, had around seven candidates. I can tell you on Wednesday when I spoke to one of the chairperson candidates and asked them, listen, what is your lineup? Who are you moving with as your deputy chair, your secretary and your deputy secretary and treasurer? And this comrade says to me that I will only know a few hours before we go and vote, before nomination, which we have seen that happen last night. 30 minutes before the nomination process, the other slate, which is led by Bushi as their ideal candidate for chairperson, started now consolidating that list, where you see now Kinetsu coming back as now a candidate for the secretary. But with the other also faction, you were told that the former Youth League secretary under the chairperson of Colin Maini, when Colin Maini was still the chairperson, Sipotai will become a secretary candidate for the faction Anono. Then when we get to plenary, then we get to see that Sipo now has to withdraw, you know, in favor of Louis. So those are some of the things that people are not happy. You can go to the likes of this lady, the MEC of Finance, Mutlalepule, you know, Mutlalepule, she gets nominated for deputy chair. She accepts nomination just before they were counting to check if she's reached threshold. She comes back and said, no, I'm sorry, I'm withdrawing, you know. And then they go further. When she gets to deputy secretary, she gets nominated again. And you see a small group, I remember they were sitting at the back there, around 10 people raising their hand. But what was very funny, the Nonos faction says, let's support her and divide them. And you see Nono's faction raising their hands, and then she reaches threshold. So you are seeing that already the Slate Sabushi has got 2 candidates for deputy secretary, which is likely to divide the vote. So these are some of the things that they have to now talk about, who are going to be the final people to be in the top 5, and also to deal with some of this, because literally the ANC is dealing with people's egos. People are self-centered. That's why you had people contesting until 30 minutes before the nomination process as chairpersons, all of them.
Let's talk about those that abandoned and they stand down when it comes to nominations. We see Supra Mahumapelo also has abandoned his own campaign and seems to be on the side or supporting Nono Maloyi. What does this mean?
You know, on Friday I was even saying I have not heard the name of Supra. I've been hearing of the other names, you know, and it was not surprising for him not to contest. I mean, Supra, if you know the history of the ANC in this province, this is for the first time in 19 years that he does not contest an ANC process in the province, you know. And I heard him speak earlier on, you know, and one of the things that he was saying that there's been views that he should go to national, you know, probably some are saying in the top 6, and he's saying that he's waiting for the nomination process to start. And we know that the ANC have issued rules of the process of nomination, which I know that mid-August to end of September, the nominations process will be happening. The PGCs will happen in October to pronounce ideal candidates for December. So that will be very interesting, that who will he get that support, you know, to go as an official or as an additional member. But also when you look at the history, the relationship between Nono and Supra, you can go back as Polokwane. They were working together during that time, supporting the former president Thabo Mbeki, you know, and that's why they were also disbanded, him and Nono, after that conference around 2009. So Supra was the secretary to Nono. So their relationship goes as far as that they've worked together and served together in the same structure as chair and secretary.
Still on Supra Mahumapelo, does he have a strong case? One of the reasons that he cited that he withdrew was because the branches that supported him were not allowed to participate in this conference.
As things stand, I'm not part of the steering committee to come and give, because I don't know what were the issues. I'm not part of the dispute committee to know what were the issues. Only the dispute committee or the steering committee can answer to those issues. But what I know, some of the things that when I speak to some of the delegates that were raised, particularly by Nomvula Mkwanyane, that you had some of the branches of the ANC nominating 2 males. Now, if you know and understand the ANC doesn't work like that. It's 50-50 going to a conference. They have what they call a zebra sign. So zebra sign, female and top, male, just like that. And it does not allow for 2 males. So they then say they had to disqualify those branches because they feel that they undermine ANC processes. These are some of the things that Menom Vola, as it is alleged that she said when she was given reasons when they were engaging on the issue of credentials. But as I said, those are allegations, you know, that we've had.
Analyze for us, Rebone. We see court battles even before the conference, during the conference, and what is likely to be an ongoing process of the court battles about the conference, the legality of the conference. What is an indication of court battles happening before the conference, during the conference, and even after the conference?
This is not anything new, you know. And you know, people are forgetting. There was a court judgment after the disbandment of the PEC that was led by Supra. The judgment said that the ANC must reinstate them because they did not follow proper procedure of dissolving a structure. the ANC undermined also that process. So in Northwest, it is normal. I think they've become friends of the court. That's how they run their organization in this province. You know, they don't deal with organizational matters. And this really shows that the ANC really is facing a difficult time, because not only Northwest. I mean, you can go KwaZulu-Natal. There's been also some times where court had to dissolve the PEC. You can go to the Free State. It has become part of the ANC processes that court will dictate for the ANC. This shows that the leadership of the ANC is not taking serious also their own internal processes.
Thank you so much for your time. That is Rebone Tau, a political analyst, and saying that it seems like politics of the Northwest, or rather the party, has made themselves friends of the court in terms of taking party issues to the court and not being able to deal with those issues internally in the party. But Dudu will keep you updated in terms of the latest as the conference unfolds, and as it stands, the voting has not started, though members and delegates are starting to walk in, but the number is still very small. Seats are still very empty. I'm going to ask my camera person to just show. People are sleeping, they are tired. There are even some members of military veterans that were outside, and they said it's been a long weekend for them and they just can't wait to be home. So that is the situation right now, Dudu. We are just waiting to hear what time exactly will the voting start.
Refiloe Seboko, thank you very much for that update.